you guys are here today. This is the day that we really get into the meat and potatoes. We're really getting into okay, the playbooks, the masculine work, the doing. Okay. So if you're able to take yourself on and put in your screen, I would love it. If you can't, I totally understand. There are moments that we can't. But if you can, I gotta tell you, it's like the interaction with just even the facial expressions that keep me going through these. So I'm like, that's amazing. Um, so what we're going to do today is, first of all, thank you for being here. You guys are all amazing. You're all investing in your time on your business on a Saturday from 11 to 1. Like, what the heck? So that's amazing. What we're going to do is I really want to answer any questions that you have on your time blocking or on how you were putting in on your calendar. Did you feel like you had enough time? Did you feel like you had too much time? Do you have questions on what that could look like? And how we can allow that calendar to now be our boss. Then I want to answer any questions that you have on what we covered yesterday of, are we exhausting all of our options with our lead sources now and what those top lead sources are for you? And then we're going to go into how all the creative ways of building your business on repeat and referral. Because yesterday everybody said how much they absolutely love cold calling. No. And having the knowledge that you absolutely can build the business of your dreams off repeat and referral. Doesn't mean we just sit back and let it all happen. It's actually very intentional, but it isn't coming from commission breath, and it's leading with relationships first. Interesting. A lot of people will say, I just don't want to talk to my friends and family. I don't want them to think I'm trying to sell them something every time. There's a really easy answer to that. Don't. Don't. Just give a ton of value, build relationships, and trust that everything works out. Okay. I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about how you can easily leverage some of those activities at a very, very low cost, should you choose to. If you choose not to, that's okay too. If you choose to, great. And then I have had some inboxes about my programs, and I'll touch on those as well. All right. Everybody ready? Get a pen and paper. Here we go. Okay. For those of you that did the worksheets yesterday, and you decided what was the most important thing for you to accomplish in your business and in your personal life, and then adding those activities that will get you closer on your calendar, how did that go? Do we have questions? Is there anything? If you want to put it in the chat, that would be great. I'd love to answer those for you and make sure that everybody feels really confident that there's either enough time in the day or that they are able to do the activities that they see necessary to do. What do we have? What ahas did you have during that exercise, or what questions came up? Everybody got it done? Everybody did it perfectly? We're good? No? Jason, no. Okay. Something I've thought about putting it on paper is a different story. Yeah. Yeah. Knowing what to do and doing it are very different, right? Yeah. So the thing is then we have to say, okay, why would I even want to? Why would it even be important? Right? Why would it be something that I would even do? Andrea says, always for me, it helps to focus on what I love to do, not what I need to improve. Yes, it helps to focus on what I love to do. I love that you said that, because a lot of people will say to me, Brooke, what's the best way to build a business? What do you find is the most effective? And my answer is always what you love doing. And the reason that's the answer is because then it's something that you will do consistently, and you will do it full of energy. So how many of you would get into real estate if you heard from somebody, hey, listen, I know you love seeing homes. I know you love having relationships, but the only way that you're going to build a great business is by cold calling for 3 hours a day. Who'd sign up for that job? A lot of people do, right? And a lot of people think that. A lot of your big mega teams and a lot of your coaches out there are saying this is the way to build a big business. I'm here to tell you that's not the only thing you have to do. You don't have to do it at all if you don't want to. Okay. But what we do have to do is be really intentional about whatever it is that we choose. Being really, really intentional. Let's see. Amy says, I always knew my leads come mostly from sphere of influence and past clients, but looking at the number on paper confirms it. I need to up my nurturing. Okay. And Ashley, great. Thank you. We'll make sure Ashley gets this recording. So thank you for that. Yes. Okay. Look at the numbers on paper confirms it. I need to up my nurturing. And Amy, today you're going to find all different ways to do that. I'm going to just give you the playbook, girl. Like we're just going to show you. Okay. So now that you've had that awareness, it might be more motivation to say, okay, now that time to do that is going to go on my calendar. I'm going to block it out like an appointment. Right. So what would happen if you have, and Amy, I know you have a beautiful business. What would happen if you did nurture your sphere of influence? Like what could happen there? Right. It would blow up. Right. Is anyone in the room, because I find this to be true as well. If I do nurture, I might have more business than I can handle. Anybody having that feeling? Or is that not something that we're worried about right now? Okay.
I'll answer that because the last couple of weeks has been a little bit overwhelming, especially just going full time the first of the year.
Can't hear you.
So sorry. Hold on 1 second.
You're good.
Can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Is that better? Okay. So
yes.
Again, just started, full time in the first of the year, right? So I had my first true listing appointment for the being full time. And then we had an open house a couple of weeks ago. Huge success. House went pending right away. Had several buyers came in without representation. So overwhelmed by, sending a message out to all of those and then getting actually feedback about, all right, hey, this is what I'm interested in. When can we meet? And trying to get them all blocked into an appointment, right? So that I can meet with them, finding out some of them have, a house they have to sell and they want to get out of it real quick, especially one lady who unfortunately lost her husband. So she's like really ready to move. On top of all that, so I think there was like three there. And then I've got some friends that recently just reached out. So it's like, Sarah's like, what do I need? My wife is like, what do I need to do to help you? Right. So it's overwhelming a little bit. Now, not all of them are looking to purchase today or sell today, but it's the reaction of like my personal, like, I need to get on top of this right now so that like they know that I'm interested. Obviously, I'm not going to push them off because they're not interested in buying in a couple months or selling in a couple months. So right now, a little overwhelmed because I feel like 6 transactions, even though all those 6 are going to be spread all over probably 2 quarters. But still, you don't want to lose that business because that's what you need to put in your pipeline. So yeah, a little bit overwhelmed.
First of all, congratulations.
Thanks. Well, kind of.
That's a really good problem to have. Like, I just have so many people wanting to use me. I just don't know where to start. Right?
I'm not one trying to pat myself on the back or brag about it. It's just overwhelming. Like, it's just like, and I've been told like, hey, listen, your network, as you've said too, is like, hey, listen, in your brand, it might get busy. I feel like it's starting to kind of get to that point, but it's just being, how do I personally by myself just kind of organize this a little bit, as in like doing the calendars and things like that. But I don't want this to be about me. I'm just trying to say, yes, I get that feeling right now of what you're talking about in regards to being a little bit overwhelmed, and so I just wanted to share.
Yes. And by the way, Jason, this is about you. This is about all of you in here. So if any of you have a question, that's why you're here live. That's the benefit of coming on live. Okay. So put it in the chat. Yes. And by the way, Amy says, awesome job, Jason. I agree. So actually, actually, I will hit on that. Okay. And Andrea said, I've never learned to hire. We'll hit on that too. Let me make some notes. All right. Everybody got all day to stay? No, I'm just kidding. We'll end on time. How to hire. Okay. Perfect. And then Jason, I'm going to touch on this real quick for you to break it up for you. All right. So it's a beautiful thing. And I love that you just got into business in your first year full time, right? And you're already having this feeling. When I say congratulations, I really truly mean that. All right. So, because a lot of new agents get in, and if they start hearing from people, I'll be ready in a year, I'll be ready in 6 months, I'll be ready later, but I'm not ready right now. We immediately go into the thought of nobody wants to use me right now. My business is horrible. I don't know what's going to happen. And so we're constantly looking for that right now business. What you're doing right now is you are building a business. You're not looking for right now business only. You are building a business. So to be able to look and have an organized plan of who will be ready when, you're looking at your pipeline. And to be able to look at your pipeline within the next 12 months and know for certain, as long as I do my job of following up, as long as I do my job of making sure that they know that I'm here, I'm going to have 6, 7, 8, 9 transactions already done. That's all I got to do. That's all I got to do. So you're really going to want to make sure that, yes, we have lead generation on our calendar, but we also have time for follow-up on our calendar. Okay, so maybe you do follow-up and then lead gen, or lead gen, and then you do follow-up. From my experience, if somebody says to me, yeah, I'm going to be ready to sell, but it's going to be in about a year, my answer to them, I would consider them to be a C lead. And then I'm going to follow up with them once a month. And when they say that to me, I say, I love that for you. I am so excited that you are interested in moving within that time frame. Would you be offended if I just called you once a month to keep you updated on the market and see if anything changed for you? Okay, so you're going to find out, and then that's the conversation. So you're going to ask, you're going to qualify the lead, you find out their time frame, and if they're about 6 months to a year, you're going to want to make sure that you ask them if it's okay to follow up within like every couple weeks. Okay, so anything about like 9+ months or so ish, you're going to read the client, you're going to know they're going to be a C, and then you're going to follow up with them once a month. Once they start to become a B and get a little bit closer in time, like that within that 6-month time frame, they're going to be a B, and you're going to be following up with them bi-weekly. Then you're going to, if they're ready within the next, 90 days, 90 to 60 days, you're going to bring them in for that appointment and have that consultation or do a listing appointment with them in their house. But what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to make sure that you have time blocked on your calendar for follow-up. So these 6 that you have right now that you know are looking to buy or sell within the next year or so, I would do the initial call. I would confirm everything that they're looking for, where they're going, what it is that is motivating them. Do they have a house to sell? All of the ways that we know how to qualify a client, a potential client, and then let them know and be very upfront about your intention to follow up. Most realtors will lose a job simply because they didn't follow up. So be the one who has the integrity to do what you're going to say you're going to do. And you're going to put it on your calendar, follow up. But those 6 are all going to have different time frames. And you're going to identify what those are, and you're going to follow up appropriately. So an example of this would be, and I think I've brought this up in coaching before. The year 2023, I sold my house. My husband sold his house. We bought a house together because we got married. My daughter graduated from high school. A year before that, I really was not thinking about buying or selling. I was just going through life. I had a really serious boyfriend. I had a senior in high school. My oldest was in college. Everything was good. So if an agent had called me or I had gone to an open house or whatever the case would have been, or I was just in someone's sphere of influence and they were leading with the relationship and the conversation came up and they said, "Hey, Brooke, do you have any intentions of looking to buy or sell right now?" I would have easily said no. But if someone had asked me, "Brooke, do you have any real estate plans within the next 12 months?" I would have stopped. And I would have probably said, "You know what? I might. My daughter's a senior. Might be an empty nester soon. But on the flip side of that, I have a really serious boyfriend and one day we will likely get married. I don't know what that's going to look like." And if they said, "Well, would you be offended if I called you once a month to see if anything changed or just to update you on the market?" I would be like, "That would be fabulous." How many agents do that? Not many, because we're looking for the business right now. But when we ask people, "Do you have any real estate plans within the next 12 months?" They stop and think. That's a good question. I don't really know. We're trying to get pregnant. If that happens, I might be. I don't know. Right now, my daughter's a senior. I'm just planning spring break, but I might be. She's going to be gone. This house might be too much for me. You never know. Or do you happen to know of anyone who is? You know what? My dad has talked about it a few times of consolidating, between the house and the cottage. Maybe he'll want to get one place on the lake. That might work. I don't know if he'll do it now, but if you keep following up with me, I'll update you. You just don't know. Do you see the difference? So, Jason, I want you to look at your 6 that you have right now as part of your follow up. And you're just going to throw it on the calendar. And the script is just simply this: "Hey, it's Jason. Last time we spoke, this is what you told me. Do you have any questions about the market? And has anything changed on your end?" And as they get closer, then you're going to start meeting with them. But the beautiful thing is that during that time and throughout that follow up, you're building a rapport. They have told you something about what is going on in their personal life, and you're taking notes and you're putting it in your database and you're reminding them of what they told you. Why would we remind them of what you told me? Because that means you care. "Hey, last time we talked, you were getting ready to go on spring break with your daughter, and I know you're probably preparing for that graduation party. How's that all going?" Now, on the other side, I have no idea that they took thorough notes and that they have me in their database and that they have a scheduled call for me. On the other end, I am just like, holy cow, they really care about me. Now, whether they use me or not as their realtor doesn't matter. No, first of all, I have total faith they will. And second, if they move or not and their plans change, I've already left such an impression that they're going to tell everyone they know about me. Okay. So eat it like a sandwich, one bite at a time. I don't want you to look at it and get overwhelmed and say, "Okay, I want to eat it like a sandwich." Okay. One bite at a time. Sound good? Okay. So have follow up on your calendar. All right. Just 1 second for me, guys. I need to, are you good? Okay. I think she's okay. Thank you. Okay. Sorry about that. My dog is in here and she's laying down. They want to take her for a walk. I'm like, hang on, guys. I've got too many things going on. So all good. All right. I love that they want to take her for a walk, though. She's just a little lazy today or every day. Maybe we should say she's almost 11. All right. Hopefully that was helpful. Good. Okay. Follow up, follow up, follow up. Most realtors will lose the sale because they didn't follow up. They don't even realize, they just hear, oh, I'm not ready right now, and they just put it away. But when you are in business, you are looking to fill that pipeline for the year. That's like the best thing in the world. I just know if I follow up, this is what I have to do. Okay. Then when we are putting in our calendar, our lead generation time, a lot of people go, oh my gosh, lead generation. Prospecting. Ew. What if we just called it setting appointments? I'm just going to set appointments during this time. I just know I'm going to set appointments. Okay. I want you to know the difference when you're in there, that there's a difference. We can't manage our time like we talked about yesterday. Same 24 hours goes by no matter what. Right? We can't manage that. It's going to go by. So I really want you to look at it as, am I investing my time or am I spending my time? Is the time that I'm using how I'm using it right now, is it an investment? Is it going to have a return? So give me examples of like what would have a return on your time. What would be a wise way to invest your time in your business? What would be the wisest way to spend your time in your business? What would have the biggest return? Contact past clients. Yes. Huge return there. Yes. Jan, I got something real fun for you with the contact past clients. Okay. What else? Set up coffee meetups, pop buys. Yes, absolutely. Okay. So networking, setting up those. Love that. Okay. Appointments with partners. Appointments with partners. Jason, what do you mean partners? Are you mean like allied resources, vendors, partners that like you would refer?
Yeah, like lenders, you know, inspectors, you know, others, even lawyers. I kind of feel like those are partners a little bit.
Yes,
People like that.
absolutely. So what I'm hearing all of you say is nurturing relationships and setting appointments. That would be a beautiful investment of your time in your real estate business, right? The other one is going to be going on the appointments. That's also going to be an investment of your time. Okay. In your personal life, maybe an investment of your time is nurturing your marriage, date night. That might have a positive return. Long, healthy relationship. Going out and playing ball with your kids. Spending time with them and reading a book. That might be a great investment of your time. Creating memories, going on vacation, going for a walk, going to visit a loved one. Maybe spending time with girlfriends or the guys to fill your bucket. Personal growth, exercise, things that have a positive return. Those are going to be investments. Is it bringing me joy? And is it moving me closer to my goal? When you're spending your time or investing your time, let's say using your time, that's how you're going to know the difference. Is this bringing me closer to my goal? And does it bring me joy? Because I am a firm believer that we have to do things that make us happy, not just always be goal oriented. We really have to live these beautiful, well-rounded lives. Okay. So is it bringing me joy or making me happy? And is it bringing me closer to my goal? If it's not, then I'm spending it. There's no return and I'm never getting it back. No return, never getting it back. When I look at spending time, I think of things like this. There are things we can do that we feel joyful in the moment because we feel like we belong, but they make us feel worse when we walk away? What would be an example of that? What would be an example of something that makes us feel really good in the moment because we feel like we're in community, we belong, but we feel worse when we walk away? For me, an example would be standing around the coffee table with fellow agents and complaining about the market, talking about how bad our clients are, freaking out about the NAR lawsuit. That would be a complete waste and spend. You'd just be spending it. You'd never get it back. Right? That would be an idea for spending for me. Gossiping. That would be spending for me. And sometimes it's hard to differentiate because sometimes we just want to be in community. We just want to have a conversation. But one of the decisions I made a while ago is that if I walk away from that conversation, any conversation, feeling worse than I did when I entered it, I will no longer have those conversations, either what the subject is about or with the person who I'm talking to. It all is dependent. But if I don't feel good walking away from it, I will make every effort to not spend time that way again. Does it bring me joy? No, that's a spending. Okay. There's also ways. This is why I wanted you to look at your top lead sources. There are ways to spend time in your business that don't bring a great return. What would be examples of that? How would you spend time in your business that don't bring a great return? Running ads on Google. Yeah. And spending days to make sure it's perfect. I got this perfect, right? Yeah. Get the free reviews instead. Yes. Updating your systems. Yes. Now, some of you who go into the office, and I know there's a few of you who do, and there's also some of you who manage offices. How many times do you see your agents just go in and they think that they're being so productive? And you're like, what are you working on today? And they're like, I'm making sure my website is beautiful. I'm getting it all perfect. I'm working on my marketing logo. I'm working on my app, making sure that my business cards are absolutely awesome. Great. You share it with anybody? Nope. Maybe. Got to get it perfect first. That would be an idea of spending. We also get what's called shiny object syndrome, and we go, oh, they have the beautiful Yetis with their logo on it. So now I'm going to spend time and get my logo. And then I'm going to go broke and buy 100 Yetis, and I'm not going to talk to anybody about real estate. We see it all the time. So we just want to make sure that we're using it. Okay. Ask the admin or marketing to do those things. Delegate. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Delegate, delegate, delegate or dump. Okay. Time blocking. Am I spending it or am I investing it? Okay. 20% of your day should bring you 80% of your results. Just 20%. Just 20%. 20% of your day should bring you 80% of the results. Kind of think of it like the 5 love languages. Okay. So think about, like, I don't know if you're familiar with the 5 love languages, but I kind of apply it to everything. Right. So we all like all of them, right? I think that there's like 5 love languages. There's like personal touch, acts of service, gifts, quality time, and words of affirmation. Okay. So we all like all of them, but we all really feel love in one way or the other by one of them. Okay. So for me, mine is quality time. If Josh spent all of his time trying to please me by buying me gifts, cleaning the house, saying nice things to me, that would be all fine. But all he would really have to do is spend a little bit of undivided time, quality time with me throughout the day, forget the rest, and that would have the largest return. So what would have the largest return on your business? Make sense? Okay. Then you went and you looked at all of your lead sources and you said, okay, have I exhausted all the options? Have I exhausted all the options? So where are my top lead sources coming from? Most of you have probably determined that they come from your sphere of influence and past clients. So then we're going to say, okay, if that's where my business came from, we're going to ask the questions. Can I add more time and effort to this? If the answer is yes, great. One of the examples was if you love open houses, Jason, you brought up open houses. If you did, and I know that you just went full time, but let's say, for instance, you did 20 open houses last year. That was the biggest return of your business, of where it came from. Could you add more? If the answer is yes, great, do so. If the answer is no, then move on to the next question. Have I utilized all the resources available? Can I add a little bit more money to it? Can I do a little bit more? Can I market a little bit more? Can I go a little deeper? And then are my skills with this lead source as sharp as they possibly can? And am I the master of it? Okay. So skills meaning, are you known for it? Are you the master of it? When someone says, oh, Jason's holding an open house, I'm going just because it's the bomb open house. Then you've mastered. How are you different? How are you better? How do you stand out? Okay. Client appreciation parties or events. How are you different? How are you better? Following up with your sphere of influence and building those relationships. If your skills are really sharp, then you'll have the utmost confidence that it absolutely doesn't matter who else talks to them. They're mine. Don't care. Try all you want. I'm the best at making sure I have that relationship with them. I go deeper than anybody else is willing to. I spend more time, more money, more all the things on my sphere of influence, past clients than anybody else. They would never use anyone else. How do I know? Because they tell me and they refer me and they use me. That's how you know if you've mastered. So ask yourself those 3 questions before we add on anything. And I'm saying this intentionally before we go into the playbooks, because when I go into the playbooks of what this is going to look like, I don't want you to make the mistake of saying, I'm going to implement all of these right now. One at a time. Become the master. Ask yourself these 3 questions on the one that you're pulled to most. Master it. And then if you want to add additional something else, great. Do it then. Okay. All right. I promised you yesterday that I would show you an example of my calendar that I worked for years. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just for a quick second to give you a quick glimpse. And I'm just going to go there. Let's see if it's sharing. Okay. This is an example of my calendar that I literally worked on for years. All right. What I did was I just put together an ideal weekly calendar. Why? Because my coach asked me to, and I had to turn it in every week. Okay. So, but what you can see is, yes, it's very scheduled out. But this was just, I mean, knowing that what I wanted to build and how I wanted to do it was just something that was important to me. Okay. But these are the things I want you to see on here. Okay. First thing in the morning, personal growth. You can see that personal growth is a value of mine. You can see that health is a value of mine. Okay. So, like, first thing in the morning, when I know nobody needs me, my clients don't need me, my kids don't need me, that's me time. The other reason I do it in the morning is because I want to fill my cup. I want to be so full that by the time I see the first person for the day, I am overflowing. If you are saying to yourself, I could never have time for me. I'm so busy giving to other people. I want you to think about that and really ask yourself, am I pouring from an empty cup? Do I start to feel exhaustion? Do I start to feel resentment? Do I not look forward to the day because I'm just giving and giving and giving and giving? If that's how you feel, you need to put personal time on your calendar more than you know. You cannot pour from an empty cup and give everything that you want to give to your clients and to your family and to everyone else around you. You have to take care of you. How do I know? I did it for a long time. And my coach was like, you're in burnout. You do this job because you love it and you aren't loving it. You speak of your kids so highly and like you're short-tempered when you get home from work. So if you're saying, oh, I don't have time for that, you need it more than you know. Give yourself that gift. Okay. So I'm taking care of me. Then I'm to go when I'm in the office, I'm, prepping my day. I'm seeing what happened in the market that day. I'm looking at the hot sheets. I'm looking at my scripts. I'm seeing if there's any office work that I need to do. And then I'm getting into my appointment setting. When I'm in my appointment setting, that is an appointment with myself. If you see, that's from 9 to 10:30. Unless there's a 911 situation, and a 911 situation would be my client's going to lose the deal because I'm in a multiple offer situation and I have something that we have to discuss. That is the exception. That very rarely will happen. It will happen, but it's the exception. Anyone that's not 911 can be called or emailed or text during your office time. Because if I just let all that other stuff get in the way and I am feeding everybody else's needs before my own, appointment setting never happens. I'm just living for everybody else based off the time frame that they're on. So I have to set these appointments with myself. If you don't have a lunch break or a break in the middle of the day for yourself, please put one in there. And then I'm going on appointments in the afternoon. You'll see I have an evening that's already blocked out for appointments. You'll also see that after I'm on appointments, I'm going to take a half hour and I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss anything. I can answer emails real quick at the end of the day. I've already fulfilled everything. It's pretty much where I can do it very quickly at that time. And then my appointment in the evening is with my family. Dinner, homework, all the things. It's an appointment. Unless there's an emergency, I don't need to answer my phone. I can schedule out a half hour in the evening, 7:30 to 8 or whatever time that is. Before, once dishes are done, family time's done, I can go ahead and sneak away, answer any text messages, emails, or phone calls that can't wait until the following morning. 911 items only. And then I can get back to being with and unwind in the evening. Okay. So if this is my calendar, I can swap out those times. What you're going to notice is there's no Sunday on here. Now, I will still work on Sunday, but I'm not intentionally out there looking. I'm not setting appointments on Sunday unless it's an exception. If I have to, I'm not the agent that says, if you call me on Sunday, I will get back to your call, the next business day. That's just not me. If it's you, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just not me. So, but I just don't set appointments on that day. When my kids were younger, my day off was Wednesday. I always took Wednesday off. It was the day I knew that I could schedule them their doctor appointments. It was the day that I knew that we could get things done. It was a day, honestly, too, that like when they were gone at school, I had some time to get some things done. The other thing that I want to tell you about my calendar that I lived for years was my deal with my kids was this. I do work nights and weekends. I don't work every night, and I don't work every day over the weekend, but I do work nights and weekends. We're not a typical 9 to 5 family. But here's what goes on my calendar first, no matter what. I never missed any sports. I never missed any tournaments. I never missed any school plays. I never missed the spelling bee. I never missed anything. That went on my calendar first, and I worked around it. So mom might not work a 9 to 5, but I will never miss anything, and I don't have to ask for time off from a boss in order to make your events. But that doesn't mean mom doesn't work. It worked beautifully for us. So find what works for you. Okay. Any questions on that? Will that help anybody? Okay. All right. Time blocking. Am I exhausting all of them? Okay. So here's a couple things to remember. When you're looking at, let's get into the activities now, okay? When you're looking at, okay, Brooke, I see you have a lot of lead generation, a lot of appointments on there. Like, how do you fill your calendar? What? Who are you calling? What are you doing? All right. For me, repeat and referral business is fun. And when I lead it with the relationship, it actually has the best return. Okay. So I enjoy doing it. Most of the time I would kind of giggle and go, I can't believe this is what I do for a living. Like I'm literally just building relationships and people are giving me business. Beautiful. Okay. That does not mean it's not intentional. So go through your sphere of influence, go through your database and look and say, okay, I've got a lot of people in this database or I don't, whatever that is. And I want you to understand that not everybody in your database is treated equally. That doesn't mean you don't love them equally. It just means that they don't all get the same equal time during your business hours. We're going to go for the people in your database. Yes, Jan, I can email that to you for sure. You're going to go ahead and you're going to look at your database and you're going to say, okay, who in my database knows me, trusts me, likes me, and has the ability to use and refer my services? Who knows me, trusts me, likes me, and has the ability to use and refer my services? You're going to call those your A's. Okay. So we're going to look at the database as a whole. We all know, especially if we've been in business for a while, there's those people in your database that you're like, yeah, I did a transaction with them. I'm gonna drip on them, but like, I don't need to call them intentionally again. Like, I don't mean to be like that, but we don't mesh with everybody, right? Like, that's okay. No big deal. We did a good service. But then there's those people in your database where you're like, oh, they're my people. Like we are aligned. We have the same core values. That transaction was so fun. Or there's those people in your database that maybe never moved, but they sing your praises. They're always referring you, right? They just love you. They love what you do. They have the ability to refer you. Okay. So you're going to go through your database and you're going to be really honest with it. Who are these people for me? I'm going to call them your A's. Who are my A's in my database? And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to intentionally build a rapport with them, have a relationship with them. You're going to lead that with the relationship. You've already identified them as somebody that you're in relationship with. Now we're going to be intentional. The magic number on that is 24 times a year. When I first got into real estate, research showed that it was 33. It's now about 24. You're going to see what works for you, but if you're looking for the research and on the averages, it's 24-ish. Okay. So about twice a month. What I'm going to do is there's two things that I have that I want to make sure we know. It is not about how many, it's about how deep can I go. So I never, ever, ever have more than 100 A's in my database. I just don't. Now, I could have 700 people in my database and I could send them mailers. I can send them, put them on a drip campaign. I can still promote to them. I can still be Facebook friends with them. But the people I'm really intentional with, I never, ever go over 100. Now, sometimes, and every October, I have to go back through it and re-see. Some people get moved in, some people get moved out. It does not mean I don't love them from a distance, or it does not mean that I don't want to hang out with them over the weekend. It just means I'm not going to spend my business working time nurturing that. So here's an example. My son is graduating college this year. He has several friends that are getting into real estate. He's got really good friends. If I coached any of his really good friends who are getting into real estate and they called him and said, hey, if you were to refer or use someone for your real estate services, out of curiosity, who would that be? My son better say me. Right? Like, yo, my mom's in real estate. Like, of course I'm going to refer and use her. All right. Perfect. It doesn't matter. They're still going to go have a beer over the weekend. They're still friends. They still love each other. No big deal. But it would make no sense for that friend to use his working time trying to build a rapport with Benjamin. Does that make sense? So it's not personal. I have ruined so many relationships in the beginning of my career by taking everything personally. It's not personal. We have to be able to know for certain and be solid enough that our business is not personal. Although we lead it with relationships, everybody looks at this from a different lens. Some people don't want to involve personal and business. It's okay. Some people might have a family member and they feel pressure to use them or they choose to. It's okay. It's not personal. So don't take that as like a way to stop what you're doing. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take that sphere of influence, the people that you've identified who know you, like you, trust you, and have the ability to use and refer you, and you are going to put them in your database or your calendar or however, and you're going to make sure that you contact them at least 24 times a year. Okay. Whether you have 20 people in your sphere of influence or 100 people in your sphere of influence, it doesn't matter. Don't try and make people who aren't in your sphere of influence in your sphere of influence. Just start creating new relationships. A lot of people in my sphere of influence even came from open houses, past clients, so you just start adding people to it. Or you create a networking group, or you start a book club, or you do like a moms and mochas. I had a client do that. It was beautiful, right? So you just kind of start putting yourself out there to build them. What you're going to want to do then is no more than 10 a day. No more than 10 a day. You are going to want to schedule to reach out to these people twice a month. No more than 10 a day though. Why? Because they're longer conversations. You're building a rapport. Okay. And people say, well, Brooke, what do I say to them? Well, you're in relationship with them. So you're going to ask them, how's your family? How's life going? Do you have anything coming up? I saw on social media that you took a trip to Hawaii. How was it? So you're just going to talk life. Now, here's the kicker. I ask for them. I ask whether or not they know of anyone or if they have any real estate plans within the next 12 months. 4 times a year and that's it. But I'm talking to them 24. 4 times a year, once a quarter. All of my other communication is either a handwritten power note, meaning it's not on my business stock. It's an actual like card. And I'm just letting them know, I think you're fabulous. This isn't, thanks for the coffee. And then brushing on something that inspired me from them. I'm maybe sending them a text message with an article or something that reminded me of them. One of my favorite things is I have a lot of like beautiful, powerful women in my sphere of influence. And so I'll like send them a song or a text message or like an article or something. Or like if you know that like someone's a really big Michigan fan, send them like something about whatever you saw in there, right? Like bond with them. You know their interests. I'll ask them to go to coffee or get a glass of wine. I'm not just hammering the phones. So one day I might be writing 10 handwritten notes. Next day, I might be asking 10 people to go to coffee. The next day, I might be at the coffee or sending emails of whatever reminded me of them. I'm still, though, going to position myself as the expert with them. So if I have a drip campaign or I have a newsletter that goes out to them and I'm the real estate expert, yes, I'm still going to have them on Facebook or invite them to my business page and share things there too. I'm going to present myself as the real estate expert to them, and I'm going to allow them to see that. But when they hear from me, only 4 times a year, I'm asking, do you know of anyone looking to buy or sell in the next 12 months? That's it. I'm leading it with the relationship. Okay. One of the beautiful ways I'm going to share this with you to lead it with the relationship is with my sphere of influence. I will send them what's called my favorite people questionnaire. And on the favorite people questionnaire, I'll share it with you. I'll show it to you. I'll share my screen. I'm finding out everything about them that they're willing to share with me. Okay, this is for my sphere of influence. So I'm sending it to them in an email. I'm letting them know I'm sending it to them. I'm sending them a text. I'm like, hey, I'm sending you an email and I did it on purpose. Like you really, truly are chosen for this. I really want to know. Okay. I'm sending them an email. In the email, I'm attaching a video and I'm like, hey, I really want to know everything about you. Like you are someone I identified as one of my favorite people. And in an effort to make sure that we have really great contact and meaningful conversation, I would just love to know a little bit more about you. Fill out the questionnaire attached, send it back to me. And hey, you never know when you might get something sent to you in the mail or a little pop by at work. Okay. Then I'm sending them the email with the questionnaire. Share my screen again. This right here is the questionnaire that we send. You can see right here. What's your personal information? What's your address? Phone numbers? Kid birthdays? Your birthdays? Where do you work? What's your anniversary? Your favorite non-alcoholic drink, your favorite alcoholic drink, your favorite restaurant, your favorite candy? And how do you prefer that I contact you? Once they have this filled out, it's going in my database, all the information. In fact, you're going to be surprised because a lot of them will email it back to you and say, all right, now you fill it out and tell me everything about you. Like you're just in relationship. The great thing is that then you have this in your database. So every time you contact them, you know. So when I have them and I go, okay, I'm going to contact these people twice a month, I know when I go to my database and I have all the information in there, who has a birthday this month, who has an anniversary this month, what kids have birthdays. And by the way, I am never sending birthday cards on my real estate cardstock. It is always a real birthday card. It is always a real happy anniversary card. Okay. I want to know their favorite junk food. Why? Because if it's their birthday and they love Snickers, I can drop a Snickers bar off at their office with a card, cost me $1, and wish them a happy birthday in person. You know how many times people in the offices have said, "Who was that? That was your realtor? You haven't moved for 2 years." I know, she's really great at keeping in contact with me. And you get referrals right there. Okay. There was another situation where scrolling Facebook, and I'll give you another idea here too, as far as how to leverage this. Scrolling Facebook, I found one of my clients had gone and gotten married, kind of a secret, right? And then they made the announcement, we got married. I was like, oh my gosh, awesome. We look in the database, find out their favorite alcoholic drinks for each of them. Put together a small little basket to each have a beverage on us with some cute glassware. Cost less than $20, less than 50. I mean, it wasn't ridiculous, you know, and just brought it and put it on their front porch and said, congratulations. We're so excited for you. What do you think was the one thing they put out there and started like saying, holy cow, our realtor. And by the way, how did you even know what our favorite drinks were? How do you even know this? They had filled it out a year before, or 2 years or whatever. They don't even remember filling it out, but they just think that, oh my gosh, you know everything about us. Like you're in such great relationship with us. Like, how do you even know that about us? How do you even know what our favorite drinks are? It's these little things that really make the difference. Okay. People don't really care what you know until they know that you care. Yeah, she might be really great. She might be a really great realtor, but you know what? I never heard from her after I closed. Yeah, she might really be really great about it, but you know what? The rapport wasn't there. I don't feel like I'm in relation with them. Yeah. It's just up to us to show them that we care. Okay. So it can be creative. It doesn't have to be. In fact, I would recommend that it not be a phone call twice a month to them. Schedule one day out of the week to write handwritten cards. Schedule one day out of the week to set coffee appointments. Schedule one day out of the week to send text messages of what it is that you see that resonates with the person that you're speaking to. Schedule one day a week. I'll also say with this favorite people questionnaire that you send out, maybe you start there and you do 10 people a day. The reason I'm going to recommend 10 people a day is because once you get this back, you want to make sure that you take the information and you put it in the database. There is nothing worse than having a partially finished like contact in your database. This gives you an opportunity to slow down and put them in and schedule calls or schedule a touch with them twice a month. You're like, where do I start? I would start there. I would create a favorite people questionnaire. You can do it on Canva or whatever. You can do whatever you want. Ask the questions that you want, send it to them, and do 10 a day. And then schedule those calls 10 a day. 10 a day. You don't want to get caught doing all like 50 at one time and then having 50 handwritten notes to do in one day. I don't know if you've ever attempted that, but it's not fun, right? So break it up. Now, I just want you to think about this for a second. What if you do this? What if you put the system in place? Could it change your business? Drastically. Is it still fun? Yeah. You're talking to the people who know you, like you, trust you, have the ability to use and refer your services. That does not suck. Just giving value and leading with relationship to everyone that already wants to be in your circle. You're saying, I want to be in your circle. I care. You are part of the people I want to be in contact with. Okay. And some people will say, I've never used your services. Are you sure? You want me to like come to your client appreciation party, which I'll go over to. The answer is absolutely. We know each other, we love each other, we trust each other, and come on. You already refer me, and if you did move, I know you'd use me, right? Well, yeah, then you, of course. It gets just that done. So why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? So it's just lead with the relationship. And then my phone calls once a quarter are, how you doing? How's the family? How's everything going? How's work? Do you have any dreams? Right? And then it's out of curiosity, do you or anyone that you know have any real estate plans within the next 12 months? Okay. Another thing I'm going to touch very lightly on is if you're looking to add to your database, I would highly recommend getting a list of your allied resources or your vendors and being in rapport with them. A lot of them can also fall into your sphere of influence. And I don't just mean your lender and your inspector. I'm speaking about anyone that you would be called to see if you have a referral for. Your accountant, your painter, your electrician, your plumber, your banker, your hairdresser. These are people that you could also very much have a rapport with and should. So then when you're calling your sphere of influence, and they might even be part of it, they go, oh, come on, Brooke, if I had any plans to move, I would, give you a call. Well, absolutely, I know that. But the last time we spoke, you were talking about possibly remodeling your bathroom. Do you need a contact for a plumber? Do you need a contact for a painter? See where I'm going with this? Be the go-to person for everything. But then when you say, do you have any real estate plans? They say, oh, I would call you. Oh, I don't know. Of course you would use me to buy and sell, but I'm talking about like any real estate plans, period. Last time we talked, you were looking to remodel your bathroom. Do you need a builder for the deck that you dreamt of putting on? All the things. Okay. Be the resource, be the go-to person for everything. Okay. Another way that you can utilize this 24 times a year for your sphere of influence is if you're like, yeah, the favorite people questionnaire is really good and asking a coffee and that's good, but I just need to be more intentional, or I just need to have like something else, or you're at a point in your career where you're actually hosting like client appreciation parties. You can take that and you can do 6 touches a quarter. So every quarter for your client appreciation parties, and I can send you the playbook for these if it's something you desire. Every quarter, you're going to reach out to your sphere of influence 6 times. Again, we're still going to break it up. First touch, save the date. Hey, I just wanted you to know that we secured a Santa Claus and a photographer. Save the date. We're going to do pictures with Santa for you and your whole family at this location on this date. Look for an invitation to follow. Save the date. Second one, send out a paper invitation. Third one, send them an invite. Fourth one, ask them for their RSVP or confirm it. Fifth one, the actual event, belly to belly. I say belly to belly and people laugh at me. Face-to-face contact. Okay. Also, ask them to bring a friend. 6 touch, power note. Thank you so much for coming. It was great to see you. You always light up a room. Can't wait for the next one. Your friend Brooke. P.S. Call me. I'd love to have coffee sometime. Rinse and repeat. Next quarter. We secured this, save the date. See where I'm going? So you can do your client appreciation events around your sphere of influence. My recommendation is for client appreciation events. This is something that works so well. Our sphere of influence is invited. And every client we are currently working with or have worked with in the past 12 months. Client appreciation events, our sphere of influence, our top people, and anyone we are currently working with or have worked with in the last 12 months. Here's why. No matter how that transaction went, no matter what happened, and of course, we're all like going to give beautiful transactions and have it be as seamless as possible. But you will never be the agent then that takes their commission check at the closing table and they never hear from again. So even if they don't go into your sphere of influence and you keep them in your database, however that is, and they're a past client, you still have a year after that you're keeping in contact with them. Do you think that leaves an impression? Yeah, a big impression. I also don't want you to get confused with client appreciation events having to be really big parties. We see these mega teams do really big parties, right? It doesn't need to be like that. Mine literally started out as happy hour. And my very first one, I think I had 3 couples come, 6 people. All right. I got a table. I made a reservation. I said, drinks are on me from like 4:30 to 6. So they each had like 1 or 2 drinks and appetizers. And I would order like 3 or 4 appetizers and have them on the table. Less than a couple $100, I'm out of there. Not even probably. Okay. As we continued to do this, these happy hours literally turned into having to rent out the top floor of a bar. Not kidding. So as they start, they will be smaller, and that's okay. Allow it to grow. Just be known for doing them. Okay. What you're going to find is if you continue to do the same client appreciation thing, people will start to ask you. All right, Brooke, we're getting ready to like schedule our pictures with Santa. Your group has done it for the last few years for us. Are you planning on it again this year? Yeah, of course. They'll start to assume it. They'll start to plan on it. So some ideas are happy hour, start smaller. Another one is if you have a park within your territory or someplace, or even at your own home or at your office. A lot of us have beautiful offices. You could do like a trunk or treat. You could do an Easter egg hunt. You could have a Santa and a photographer come. You could even take pictures with your cell phone and send them to them. Like big deal, right? But some of them want professional. We've done pumpkin patches before and allowed them to go through there, rented out parks. It just, whatever your budget is and however big your sphere of influence is, plan accordingly for that. But if you choose to do, yes, ice cream social, I love, used to. Let's do that again, right? So ice cream social is a really beautiful thing as well. And I don't know how you did this, Amy, but we've done that. And what we do is we actually send them their ice cream tickets in the mail, ask them to come, and then I'm on for a couple hours, say, come see me. These are the 2 hours I talk to the owner or the manager on duty, and then I just cash out at the end. Yeah. Beautiful thing. Beautiful. It does not have to cost a lot of money. And it does not have to be a big event in order for it to be worthwhile. The other thing I want you to realize is the event is only one touch of it. It's absolutely irrelevant how many people actually come. So don't get attached to that. You've just been in contact with them 5 other times over the quarter. That's a big deal. So whether or not they can come is kind of irrelevant. You're just letting them know that they're important to you and you're building that rapport. Okay. Our local well-known ice cream store was bought by by a realtor. Yeah. Okay. Amy just said the local store, ice cream store was bought by a realtor. Yeah, you might want to change the location, but we could probably figure that out. Yeah, they might not love that. So, but that's funny. All right. So client appreciation parties, you can use that. You can do that around your 24 touches, 6 touches a quarter. Beautiful way. Don't get attached to the outcome of the client appreciation party. Just know that the more consistent that you are with them, the more you'll have. The other one is the housewarming parties. And I gave, I don't know if you have it, but if you don't have it, it is on the Facebook page that we have Uncaged. There is the playbook in there. With the housewarming parties, follow that playbook. But one thing I will say is that it is an opportunity for you to give a beautiful closing gift to your clients by offering every buyer that you work with a housewarming party. Now, what I do with the housewarming parties is it's typically about 1%. So if it's a $200,000 home, my budget is usually about $200,000 or $200. My budget's not 200, right? So it's usually around 200. It's $1 million home. I'll probably spend around $1,000 on it. But I have the same caterer, the same chef do it every time. So we have it as a well-oiled machine. So look through that playbook on how to present your housewarming parties to your clients. It is an opportunity for you to create your database based off of their people. You don't need to do anything. All I need to know is who are we inviting and their addresses and their emails and phone numbers. I'll take care of everything. You don't have to worry about a thing. Well, Brooke, can I just create a Facebook group and do that? Absolutely create a Facebook group. And I found from experience that the best turnout is if they get a phone call follow-up and an actual invitation. I'd love to do that for you. This is how we do it. This is the way that we do it. Okay. So look through that housewarming party. The other little thing to say is I give my buyers a year to do it. There's a lot of times where my buyers will say, oh, I would love a housewarming party, but this house has a pool and it's the middle of winter. Well, great. We'll have a pool party in the summer. Some of them want to do renovations. Some of them want to do some painting. Some of them want to wait for the weather. That's fine. You have a whole year. I'll do it for any time in the year. No big deal. But then I'm having an opportunity to meet all of their sphere of influence, make a really big impact, and give value to my buyers, and I'm still not disappearing. That's another thing. We've also talked about pot buys. Okay, some of you have brought up pot buys. Pot buys, I would do the exact same. The people who I include in pot buys, my sphere of influence, my A's, the people who know me, like me, trust me, and have the ability to use and refer my services, and any client I'm currently working with and or that has closed within the last 12 months. Should you choose to do pot buys, which by the way, go on Pinterest, look up realtor pot buy ideas. There's a ton of them. Couple of examples that we've done for pot buys. If you're not sure what a pot buy is, it's literally putting together a little gift and you're bringing it to your client's house or someone in your sphere of influence, and you're either dropping it off or you're giving it to them. Okay. Some examples that we've done. We have ordered like bulk socks from Amazon, men, women, and kids. Christmas socks, holiday socks. Okay. Super cheap when you buy them from Amazon, and cheap, like less than $1 a piece. Okay. And we would give socks in a bag. We gave socks in a bag for each member of the family. And it simply said a little card that we printed on regular printer paper, stapled it with a little ribbon, and said, let us knock your socks off this holiday season. Easy. Another one, Easter time, Peeps. You either love them or you hate them, right? But you can do it Peeps. You can do it super cheap. Grab some Peeps. Tell all your peeps about us. drop by. Okay. You can go and you can look at there's so many ideas. You can get so many ideas on Pinterest. And then I just take a regular piece of paper and print 6 of them on each. Staple it with a bow on the bag, and it's super easy, super cheap. If you do that, I highly recommend too that you do the 10 a day. And then just make that part of what your touches are. Okay. So again, same thing, sphere of influence, current clients you're working with, and those that have closed with you within the last year. Don't ever be the realtor that just disappears after you collect your commission. Okay. All right. One of the other things that Andrea said was, okay, yes, that was a fear of mine, was growing and then not having leverage. No one ever taught me how to hire. So it's a perfect way for me to open up and say, here's how we hire. Okay? A lot of us have this fear of hiring because we're like, oh my gosh, of leveraging ourselves. First person I ever hired to leverage myself was someone to clean my house. Right? Like, I don't like it. I like a clean house, but I don't want to be the one to have to worry about cleaning my house. I leveraged myself there. My business grew because of it. Okay. Every time there's a bigger demand, the supply comes. All right. Now, in my business, what do you do after you get a referral from your sphere? What do you do after you get a referral from your sphere? Okay. So, Andrea, you're asking like, okay, do you know of anyone looking to buy or sell within the next 12 months? And they say, yes, my friend. Great. Okay. There's a couple ways that I love, and I'll touch on this quickly. My favorite way when I get a referral, because I'm asking for them, is I say, I love that. And a 3-way introduction always works best. Would you mind putting the 2 of us on a text message and I'll take it from there? No, fine. I can do that. Okay. Then I know I've got it. So I'm at what I'm doing. And I even do this with my lenders, all the people that I talk to, right, that I'm referring. And when I'm asked if I get a referral, I'm asking them to do this for me. And it's simple. It's like this. Hey, Jan, I am putting you on a text message with my good friend, Amy. Amy, you and I talked about Jan is a great realtor. She's the best. She's absolutely the one that you want to use. You two are going to make a perfect fit. Jan, meet Amy. Amy is one of my best friends from the past 15 years, and she's looking for a home in your territory. I know that you guys are going to be a perfect fit. Have fun. I can't wait to see how this turns out for both of you. Then me as the realtor, I'm going to step in and I'm going to say, hey, Amy, nice to meet you. I'll go offline and contact you directly. And I'm taking it from there. That for me is the best way to hand off a referral. It's real time. It's happening. There's no follow up. And you don't have to sell yourself. You also know that the person you're contacting knows exactly where that information came from, exactly why you're contacting them and when. That's worked best for me. It's flawless, actually. It's beautiful. I love it. It's great. You can do it over text, email, or whatever. But that way you know. So, Andrea, I hope that answered your question on how to hand off a referral. Love that. Okay, to thank them, do you send them a gift or thank you? Absolutely. Every time. Always a thank you. Now, what you can't do in real estate is say, send me a referral and I'll send you a $25 gift card. That we can't do. Okay. But what we can do is send a gift when we get a referral as a thank you. We just can't promote it. We just can't say like, this is why I'm sending it to you, but absolutely send them something. Good. Okay. By the way, they should also be in your sphere of influence. And if they're in your sphere of influence and you know what's in there, what their favorite drink is, what their favorite junk food is, what their favorite anything is, that's great. What do you send them? Okay. So Jan, I'm going to go into this. This is something, and I'm going to talk about leverage. So in my business, one of the very first hires that I did is what I would call a director of fun. Okay. And her job, and honestly, it's like a very part-time position. It's like internship type position. Okay. So their job was they knew my sphere of influence. They would either every day they would have to scroll through my social media, and she would alert me on whether or not, or on what upcoming like life-changing events were going on in my clients or my sphere of influence's life. I don't have time to scroll through Facebook all day, every day during my business hours. Okay. So she would scroll. She would take a screenshot and then let me know what was going on in everyone's lives. So and so just had a announcement that they're pregnant. So and so just had an engagement announcement. So and so just lost their father. And then I would say, okay, yes, let's go ahead and send them something. Let's go ahead and do something for them. Already in my Amazon is gifts, small gifts. Okay. So if it was a sympathy gift, we had a jar of memories, like $10. Send it directly to them as a gift. Announcement of like a baby girl. We had a little outfit. Same thing for a baby boy. We had a little something for them. Okay. So we're going to just celebrate them, but it wasn't a lot, but we were just very, very on top of it. All right. We also had very specific gifts that we were giving to people who referred us, closing gifts, all of those things. But a big part of our closing gift is the housewarming. All right. So, but it's the same thing. It's just a system that flows. So when I leveraged, it was like, okay, she's going to find out what's going on because life events are important to me. I want them to know I'm in relationship with them. I want them to know I care. All right. The other part was she also was to look in the database and see everything that was coming up in that month so that when I called or when they came into my twice a month touches, the birthday cards were already there and I wrote them and filled them out and sent them. Okay. But I knew who exactly they needed to go to. The anniversary cards. If it was a drop by, I knew, and I was like going to their office, I knew what their favorite junk food was or whatever was. So she was on top of it. It was not ingenuine. It was just that she let me know what was going on. And then I took the action very quickly. All right. The other one that she did was, oh, here's a big one, is for 6 years, and then we had to come up with something else because it became a little bit redundant. But if you had a birthday on social media and it was, and we knew, and she would look at it every week, it would be the birthdays. So every week it was, okay, here are the birthdays for the week. And I would literally highlight the names of who to say happy birthday to. And then it was always her going into the inboxes from me. I knew who they were going to. I knew who the birthdays, but I didn't have the time to go through and send all these at first or after a while. And it's just like, hey, I know you have a birthday this week. I want to be one of the first ones to say happy birthday to you. I hope you have a great day. When you do things like that and you slide into the messages rather than just do a happy birthday on their news feed and you're in all the noise and you do it the day of, it doesn't seem near as genuine and you're in the noise. You don't stand out. So these are just simple ways. So that's how I operated with my first person that I leveraged. So Andrea said, I just didn't know how to hire. Well, we all know that I want to be doing things I love, bring me joy, or move me towards my goals. We also know that there's other things in our business that might have to be done, but they're not in our zone of strength. They're not our zone of genius. Okay. So then, like scrolling through social media and finding all of those things, it was a better use of my time to be setting appointments and going on appointments. So it made sense to have that because I wanted to go really, really deep with my sphere of influence. The other one is it the best use of my time to do my own transaction coordination? No. Makes no sense. Why would I be stressing out about getting my transaction coordination done if I can't get my lead gen done first? If I'm not going on appointments? So what we see is a realtor's income is going to do this because we get a couple pending. Ooh, life is good. I got to get the transactions done. I got to schedule the inspections. I got to go sit at the inspection for 3 hours. No, you don't. You show up, but don't sit, you don't have to sit there the whole time. Come on now. Like, trust your inspector. Okay. Then, so there were things that just were not my best use of time. Transaction coordination. I was not doing it after a while. It's important that we know how to do it. It's important that we, get a grip on it. But are you the best person to dot the I's, cross the T's? Not always. Interview, trust, allow it. Okay. Those are simple little things. And by the way, transaction coordinator is paid at the closing. It's not even a cost of business, it's a cost of sale. Same thing with the housewarming parties. It's not a cost of business, it's a cost of sale. Huge difference. Huge difference. You don't sell anything, you don't pay anything. Okay. But you just made my life a lot easier. I'll throw you a couple $100 for that. No big deal. And you saved me time and stress, and I was able to stay in my zone of genius. So how do we then hire? I will say this. Hiring is one of those things where I want to say I want to hire out what is not in my zone of strength, my zone of genius. Okay. I want to hire, I don't want to say weaknesses, but I want to hire out what is not something I love doing or not something that's in my zone of genius. Okay. So if I love doing it, I don't need to hire it out. A lot of times people think I'm going to hire out, I'm going to just hire a buyer's agent and all of a sudden my business is going to grow. No. I couldn't see more teams fail because that's what they do. The buyer agent sees you have to have the value. You have to be able to give value to whoever it is that you're bringing on your team. So my team, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hire someone in an admin role. I don't care what kind of admin role, but an admin role. Whatever it is that I don't love doing is what I'm delegating. I love sending and writing handwritten notes. I love doing drop-bys. I love having coffee. I love meeting with people. I love talking on the phone with them. I love going on listing appointments. I love working with buyers. I'm going to keep that. I don't love transactions. They slow me down. I don't love having to figure out like who, I want to scroll Facebook and see who has an event. Thanks, Jason. Gotcha. Have fun today. So I'm going to hire out whatever it is that I don't love doing, whatever is in my zone of strength. I'm going to hire that out first. All right. Then why would I do that? Because by the time I am bringing on another salesperson, if I choose to, we don't have to choose to do that. We already have beautiful admin systems in place. So there is a great value for them to come on the team. But if you do not add value to your team members, they will leave you when they can go get enough business on their own. What would be the point? So admin, then admin, and then admin. Be admin heavy first. Delegate the things that you don't love doing and that aren't in your zone of genius. If your zone of strength is not in setting appointments and going on appointments, I highly recommend that you make sure that you create that to be your zone of strength. Like, oh, I'm just going to hire someone to go work with buyers and lead generate for me. Good luck. Good luck. Like, why would you do that? And I also don't want to hire somebody to do the same job that I'm doing. I'm setting appointments and going on appointments. I don't want my first hire to be somebody who's setting appointments and going on appointments. I want my first hire to be someone who can allow me to go on more appointments and set more appointments. And then I want the next one. And then how I hire is exactly that. Where is their zone of genius? What can we take off of their plate so that they can do what they're doing even better? And again, and again, and again. And not all of them have to be full-time. In fact, rarely are they. Okay. Okay. Questions? Anyone have anything on that? All right. So we've talked about how often does contact your sphere of influence, the favorite people questionnaire, what to send and fill out your database, no more than 10 a day. Client appreciation events and parties, how to touch your sphere of influence and your clientele for those, and ideas on those. Housewarming parties, direct, your pop buys, and then leveraging whatever isn't in your zone of strength, if possible. Did I miss what you send people that refer to you? No, you did. I don't know if you missed that or not. I don't know if I covered it. So we would, for us, we have like a couple of different things. So if it's somebody in my sphere of influence and I have a questionnaire, I will personalize it. But I will not spend a ton. It's more about letting them know as a thank you, right? So they're not going to, but they're also going to have the benefit of being in my sphere of influence all year. They're invited to my client appreciation parties. They're coming to my, events. They're being spoiled like crazy twice a month. Like, I really want them to know you want to be in my club. You really want to be in my club. Okay. But yes, so if I have their favorite people questionnaire filled out and I know what their favorite junk food is or their favorite drink or their favorite restaurant, I might send them a gift card to their restaurant. I might send them like their favorite candy, their favorite junk food. If I don't, and I don't have that information on them, we have a stack of like Starbucks gift cards that we give and send them in a card. Depends on however much you feel pulled to. So how much of a gift card? Like, I mean, I think we do 25, right? But that's for a referral and if it goes somewhere, right? But if I know them and they're in my sphere of influence and I know their favorite junk food, I might just send them like their like a box of their favorite candy and they're just as happy. So I wouldn't be attached to how much you're spending. It's more about letting them know that you see them, you thank them, and that you know what they're interested in, right? So in fact, sometimes I have clients who, I have some women clients that have like a very particular wine that they like. Okay. So if they're like, I don't know, a Sauvignon Blanc person and they have a certain brand, but I send them a bottle of Merlot, they're going to be like, ew, like, why would you do that? I don't even like that. Who likes Merlot? Who wants this? Anyone want this? But if I send them their favorite bottle of wine, it doesn't matter how much it is. They just know I got their number and I know what they love. That's the relationship. That's the cool thing. You know what I mean? So if you don't, I would definitely like go by each individual one, but we always do have like a stack of Starbucks gift cards just in case something needs to get out quick and we don't have the information. Makes sense? So hopefully that was helpful. But the more, I will say this, the more personalized that you can make things, the better you're off. Like, that's the trick here. You want to know more about everybody in your sphere of influence. This is where you master it. You want to know more about everyone in your sphere of influence than anybody else could ever know. Well, how does she know I like that Sauvignon Blanc? Holy crap, I haven't had a glass of wine with her forever. They forget they filled it out. They forget that you have all of the information in their database, in your database. And people will say, oh my gosh, you don't forget anything. And how are you so good at keeping in contact? They feel like they're the most important person in your database. And that's the point. You want every single person in your database to feel like they themselves are the most important. You make everybody feel like that, and you will have more business than what you know what to do with, which is why you want to hire admin first. You don't want to send someone else on an appointment when you've been building that rapport. You know, you have them do all the behind the scenes stuff first. And then if you want to build from there, go ahead. All right. Questions? Do we need clarification on any of those activities? All right. I'm going to say this. If you walk away from here and you are like, oh yeah, I'm gonna implement some of this. Don't implement all of it, by the way. Implement one first and then go from there. Become the master of that. And then once that's a well-oiled machine and you have a great system in, add another one. Okay. So these are all things that, yes, my team did, but understand it did not all happen overnight. It was built upon. And there were a lot of other things that like we could try, but if it wasn't effective, we got rid of it. If we didn't enjoy it, we got rid of it. And I will also tell you the things that are the most effective you will find when you're building a repeat and referral business are what you enjoy. Those are the most effective things because your sphere of influence is already aligned with you. So when you're really coming from a beautiful energy and you're doing the things that you love and they know it and they can feel it and you're including them in that, that is how they do it. If it's ingenuine, if it's something you don't enjoy, it will not be consistent. They will feel it. So the best advice I can give you on any and all of these is to be authentically you. I can give you the playbook. I can show you exactly what, we've done. But if it doesn't resonate with you, don't do it. In fact, when you get the playbooks or when you have them or you're going through this, do it better than we did. I want you to do it better than we did. I want you to do it your way. Okay. There's those few things to remember is be consistent. 24 touches is the magic number. All right. Okay. There's that. And then what we're going to do is some of you have asked about my programs because I do coach outside. So I have coached for a brokerage that has 45 offices for the last 4 years, created those programs, and very quickly started coaching in all 45 of those offices. Love that job. Absolutely love it. Love it so much that I wanted to expand and be able to touch people everywhere, not just who were within one brokerage. When we made that decision, the brokerage and I decided that they would be a client of mine, which is beautiful. So it gives me the opportunity to still do what I love, still work with that brokerage, and also be able to make an impact and work with other agents and other entrepreneurs. So realtors are not only who I work with. I have some one-on-one clients that are entrepreneurs, but obviously my niche is real estate because what we do, right? So that's why we're doing a real estate course right now. I would say there are things in the program that I developed 4 years ago that were specific to the brokerage and very, very masculine work. A lot of like to do. My programs that I do now, because of the awareness that I have and because of the programs that I've invested in myself, yes, we still have a lot of what we talked about today, like the masculine work, the systems. And I'm an open book. I provide everything that I have. I don't care. I truly believe that there's enough to go around for all of us. I will never say, oh, don't take that idea from me. Never. I don't care what market you're in. There is enough to go around. But then I really work on with my clients the identity piece. That is a huge portion of what we work on. And it's amazing to see my clients when they take on the identity of the version of them that they know that they're capable of and who they want to be and aspire to be, how quickly things change. So if we go through all of the to-dos, all of the playbooks and everything, if you already don't hold the identity of success, of being worthy, of having the income that you desire, of making the impact in your community and on the world that you are, if you don't already hold that identity, the playbooks mean nothing. It's like reading a book and going, yeah, I already know, but not like putting it to work, not doing it. So we really work on the identity. We really work on the dominant feelings and the judgments that we have of ourselves and the blocks that we create without even knowing. So we uncover a lot of them. We do then, after we get into that work, we get into like the systems and all of the things, but I have found that the most effective way to do it first is to really uncover the stories that we tell ourselves that don't serve us. And we all have them. I spend 6 months with my clients. So it's really beautiful because we go through this, we go through the work twice over. And by the time we get to the second time over, they're already a completely different person. And the goals and the vision is even bigger. So they're already then embodied the identity of where they desire to be. And then we shift it and we do it again. And we're together the whole time. I do an instructional session in my break free. And then in that same week, I do what I will call an embodiment session. And so the instructional session is like, really, we're going to talk about the session. And then we're also going to say, okay, how do we embody this? How do we become it? We spend an entire week on one session. And we're together twice a week. And then we go back over and we do the next one. And then, so we spend 6 months together. That's my break free, small group. And then my Ascend agents are the ones who really want, our clients are the ones who really want to expedite their results extremely quickly. And they actually add on 12 one-on-ones with me over the 6 months. And everything we discuss is solely about them. Whatever it is that they want to discuss in their personal or business lives. And then I coach them through it, because I have learned that coaches can see blind spots better than we can, just through our language. And so those are the ones that I would say ascend very, very quickly. I also do have one-on-one clients that don't really want to get into the sessions, or they're more my entrepreneurs and they're really kind of just like the ones who are like, okay, listen, like I know how to run my business. I just really want to meet with you like once a week. I really want to just understand what's going on. I want you to help me through some things. So those are my one-on-one clients. And we do 3-month sessions with them. And then if they choose to renew, obviously that's available as well. So my break free 6 months, there are payment plans. It is $5,000 for the 6 months. My Ascend agents who add on the 12 one-on-ones, that's $8,000 for the 6 months. And then my one-on-one clients are at $1,500 a month, and we meet once a week for an hour. We do have payment plans available. And I want you to think about this. How many transactions would it take for the entire 6 months? Probably less than one. Probably less than one. So would it be worth it to really go into the identity, really kind of discover what's stopping you from living your best life that you absolutely want to, with the belief that no matter what, by the way, we heard Andrea's story yesterday. She definitely has gotten more than one transaction out of the whole thing. It's paid for itself over, I don't even know how many times. And so I've never had a client, knock on wood, ask me for a refund. I have never had a client tell me it didn't work. I have had clients who didn't go all in and didn't get the results that I would have loved to see for them, because I can't go in for them. I show up regardless. But I've never had someone say to me, this didn't work. Never. It works every time, all the time, if my clients work with it. So it's a beautiful thing. What I would love to do is I would love to offer you a call. It's not a sales call. It's just a call for me to just say, what can I help you with today? How can I add value to you? All right. I would love to schedule that with each of you. I would love to just see how your business is going. And if you have a blind spot, maybe I can help you through that. If you decide to coach with me one day, that's beautiful. I would love to coach you. And if you decide not to, that's okay too. I'm just grateful to add value to you. So whatever it is that I can do and how I can help, please do that. Um, I will very likely, if we don't hear from you, reach out to you to schedule that because it's important to me that we do. I want to make sure that we're not just walking away from these 3 days together and going, okay, that was good information. And then not really either knowing what the next step is or not getting any of your questions answered. So it'll be an opportunity for us to connect too. Once you've kind of looked at this information and been able to say, okay, now I have a question, or now I would like to be able to work on this. All right. What questions do you have for me? Is there anything I can help you with? Let me look in the chat here. My goodness, that went by fast. It's 10 to 1. Then a scratch off lottery or coffee gift card or bakery. Yes, yes, Andrea. See, I don't know if you saw that or not, but Andrea says I scratch off lottery, coffee gift or bakery. It does not have to be big. I would say, in fact, don't make it big. I would make it more personal. We have this like perception that we have to spend a lot of money, and it's so backwards. We just have to let people know we care. So lead with the relationship and just trust that everything else will follow. Aw, thanks, Amy. I'm so glad that you got value out of this. That is exactly what I was hoping. So I'm glad that I hope it doesn't stay at motivating and it added value and that like you're ready to take action on some of this. So there is a very specific reason we did this on the last day. If we do not change the identity first, none of this information matters. It's just knowledge. It's just knowledge. So take the identity of it and making space for it in your calendar. We worked those first very intentionally. You have to change the identity, not change. Well, I said change. I want to say shift. You don't need changing. You don't need fixing. It's just an awareness. Okay. And making decisions from that version of you and then making room for it, understanding that you're worth it. If we don't make room for it, then it doesn't happen. So get the calendar set and then we got into the playbooks. If there is anything that you would like from me to send to you that I went over today, whether it be, I think you should have the housewarming one. If you want to see like the calendar, if you want to see the questionnaire, if you want to see the client appreciation playbook that I have, these are all things that are already in place and they're done, right? So, I mean, obviously it's been done for years. So if there's something that you want to see, let me know. Like I said, whatever I can do to add value, let me know. I'll send it to you, no problem. Okay. All right. You all have been wonderful. Thank you for giving me the gift of allowing me to spend this time with you. And I can't wait to have another conversation with you and see how things are going. Jan, this has been wonderful. You're so generous with your time. So good. Would love all of those. I will absolutely make sure I get them to you then. I will send them to you. All right. Okay. Go have a great weekend. We'll see you soon. I can't wait to catch up with all of you. Bye, everyone.